Have you ever felt like you're losing control of your own mind? Like your attention disappears in seconds, your memory slips during simple tasks, and mental fatigue has become part of your daily life? If so, you're not alone. And this content was made for you. Welcome. Here, the approach is different. Instead of random theories or empty promises, we'll walk you through a series of simple yet deeply effective practices that can rewire your brain. And the best part? Each part of this content also serves as a tool to help you improve your English in a natural, immersive, and meaningful way. The goal is to inspire inner and outer growth, developing focus, memory, and creativity, while mastering the language that can open doors in your life. So get your mind ready, open your heart, and dive into this journey with us. What comes next could transform much more than just your vocabulary. Most people don't realize it, but your non-dominant hand holds a powerful secret. When you use it for a routine task, brushing your teeth, holding a fork, you're forcing your brain to leave autopilot. That's because the brain area responsible for that movement must now operate differently, creating new neural connections. This small act becomes a strong push out of your comfort zone. That initial discomfort isn't a sign of failure. It's the very stimulus that activates neuroplasticity. The more you repeat this kind of challenge, the stronger your brain's ability to adapt becomes. It starts to respond better to change, faces the unexpected with more agility, and builds true self-control. It's a subtle but powerful training that happens quietly inside your head. Applying this in daily life might seem trivial at first, but if something as simple as switching hands triggers so much brain activity, what else could change with small adjustments? The truth is, routine puts the brain to sleep. The key is to add friction, to provoke controlled instability. And speaking of instability, what if you made it a point to do one hard thing every day? There's a subtle but powerful difference between merely existing and truly living. And it often comes down to the kind of effort you face each day. Doing something difficult, something that challenges your comfort zone, is one of the most effective ways to train your brain. Difficulty pushes your mind out of repetition and into the realm of new solutions. That's where creativity is born, and real growth begins. Facing a challenge daily, whether it's having a hard conversation or trying to understand something complex, builds mental resilience. These moments of discomfort act like weightlifting for the mind, painful at first, but leading to strength and clarity. Over time, your brain stops seeing effort as a threat and starts associating it with the reward of becoming stronger and smarter. Most people live caught in a cycle of routine and quick gratification, a mental diet of easy wins and shallow effort. But those who commit to doing just one hard thing a day escape this loop and develop true self-mastery. Discomfort becomes a choice, not a punishment. And once that becomes a habit, it's time to take a closer look at something else that's silently stealing your clarity. Screen time. What once felt like freedom has become a pocket-sized prison. With every notification, your mind fragments a little more. Excessive screen time doesn't just destroy focus. It trains your brain to crave instant rewards constantly. Likes, messages, fast stimuli. It all creates a dopamine routine, where anything that takes effort feels unbearable. The result? A brain that can no longer think in depth. Without breaks, the brain stays in a constant state of noise. And here's the irony. Boredom is not a problem. It's medicine. Silence allows the nervous system to rebalance. Boredom gives space for creativity, insight, and emotional processing. Stepping away from screens, even just for 20 minutes a day, helps restore clarity and calm. It's a reset button we all forget we have. Disconnecting on purpose is like giving your brain a deep clean. It clears out mental clutter, reclaims attention, and strengthens self-control. With regular practice, your senses sharpen, your anxiety drops, and your presence returns. And when night falls, your brain needs something even more essential to truly recover: quality sleep in the right environment. Sleep quality is one of the most underestimated pillars of brain health. Sleeping with lights on, background noise, or screens nearby prevents your brain from reaching deep sleep, the phase crucial for nervous system restoration. Without it, your mind stays on alert, as if the day never ended. The result? A tired brain trying to operate on half a battery, and you end up paying the price without realizing it. A completely dark and quiet environment sends a clear message to the body. It's time to shut down. This simple nighttime routine allows the brain to release melatonin properly, align internal cycles, and begin deep repair processes. It's during this time that neural connections are reinforced and long-term memory begins to settle in. Sleeping well isn't a luxury. It's a mental reset every single night. Those who neglect this live in a constant fog of fatigue. And when the mind is chronically tired, everything becomes harder. Focusing, creating, regulating emotions. That's why sleeping in true darkness and silence is a sign of intelligence, not indulgence. And once your mind is well rested, it starts seeking presence. That's when a powerful, forgotten habit makes all the difference. Walking alone in nature. There's a kind of silence that heals, and you won't find it indoors or in meditation playlists. It lives out there, in the sound of the wind, the rustling of leaves, and birds singing with no script. Walking alone in nature, without your phone, is more than a break. It's a return to your brain's original state. In that space, your senses come alive, your body slows down, and your mind finally takes a breath. This simple practice directly calms the nervous system. It lowers your heart rate, regulates breathing, and decreases activity in the brain's stress center. With no pings or pop-ups, the mind reactivates its ability to observe, reflect, and process with depth. Every step becomes a natural neural connection, not through effort, but through awareness and presence. And something surprising happens when you walk alone. Dormant thoughts rise to the surface. Old questions rearrange themselves. Your mind, once overloaded, begins to operate with quiet clarity. This isn't just about peace. It sets the stage for a deeper kind of growth. The kind that happens when you're willing to confront ideas that don't fit your worldview. Which leads us to the next step. Reading something that challenges your beliefs. The human mind loves being right. It finds comfort in repeating the same ideas, seeking validation, and avoiding the unfamiliar. But real growth begins when something shakes those certainties. Reading something that challenges your beliefs isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's a test of humility and self-control. It forces the brain to reassess, open new pathways, and create stronger neural connections. When you dive into a book, article, or perspective that goes against what you believe, your brain enters a state of constructive conflict. That's where neuroplasticity kicks in. The reading experience stops being passive. It becomes a mental wrestling match, not to blindly agree, but to sharpen your thinking. This type of cognitive friction builds clarity, empathy, and adaptability. Avoiding intellectual discomfort is like living in a loop. But those who intentionally seek the opposing view train their minds to be agile, not fragile. And the benefit spills over into every area of life. Relationships, decisions, emotions. It's like sharpening a tool you didn't know was dull. And once your brain learns to think without needing Google, you unlock a forgotten skill, remembering without checking. These days, any doubt can be answered in seconds. Just type it. But that convenience comes at a silent cost. It weakens your memory. When your brain gets used to constantly outsourcing information, it stops exercising its natural recall abilities. That's why trying to remember a name, a date, or a fact without grabbing your phone is an act of mental resistance. It's simple, uncomfortable, and incredibly powerful. This effort activates the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for consolidating long-term memory. Each time you recall something on your own, those neural connections strengthen, like roots digging deeper into the ground. Even if you get it wrong or take time to remember, the process itself is gold. It signals your brain to stay alert and adaptive, building real growth, not just convenience. This habit also boosts focus and trust in your own thinking. The more you train active recall, the sharper your memory becomes. You notice more, connect ideas faster, and depend less on external prompts. And once your brain is back in gear, ready to face real mental effort, it's time to take on something even tougher, doing something new that you're bad at. No one enjoys being bad at something. The ego resists, insecurity kicks in, and the instinct is to run. But this is exactly where one of the most powerful experiences for the brain lies. Doing something new that you're not good at, and sticking with it. Whether it's learning an instrument, dancing, or drawing, you're forcing your mind to build neural connections from scratch. It demands focus, humility, and real resilience. Making mistakes triggers a kind of discomfort most people avoid. But it's precisely this discomfort that activates neuroplasticity. It tells your brain, there's something to learn here, and the brain begins to reorganize, search for new pathways, and strengthen underused areas. Creativity doesn't come from perfection. It comes from this messy, uncomfortable process of trial and error. Facing your own incompetence also trains self-control, the ability to keep going even when frustrated. Once this mindset takes hold, it naturally spreads to other areas of life. Difficult conversations, new projects, emotional challenges. And once you become comfortable being uncomfortable, you start to crave more meaningful interactions. That's when the next step becomes essential. Having deep conversations with someone. We live in a world of shallow talk, quick phrases, rehearsed laughs, words exchanged without real presence. But the brain craves more. It needs depth, real emotions, conversations that stir thought and awaken feeling. A deep, intentional exchange activates regions in the brain linked to empathy, memory, and moral reasoning. And it's in these moments that meaningful memories and strong neural connections are formed. Talking about fears, dreams, regrets, or even uncomfortable topics like death or identity demands presence and courage. These conversations break the mental routine and invite self-reflection. They pull your thinking out of autopilot and bring you into a richer awareness of yourself and others. With time, you begin to recognize emotional patterns and find clarity in unexpected places. This is a form of growth no surface-level talk can offer. Having deep conversations is also an act of mindfulness. You need to be fully present, free of distractions, open to truth. And like anything valuable, this isn't automatic. It's a skill you develop. And once the mind learns to stay open and connected, the next step is to shake things up again. Not with people, but with your routine itself. Routine, while comforting, has a hidden cost. It numbs the brain. When everything becomes predictable, the nervous system shifts into energy-saving mode. That's when you start operating on autopilot, without even noticing. Changing your commute route, switching up your shower time, or shopping at a different store might seem minor. But these tweaks create real mental stimulation. They wake your brain up. These small shifts force the brain to pay attention again. What once went unnoticed now becomes interesting. That renewed awareness lights up neural connections, boosts focus, and sharpens memory. The brain thrives on novelty. It's where true growth happens. Repetition builds discipline, but variation keeps the mind alert, creative, and more resistant to boredom. Changing your routine also breaks the cycle of instant gratification. When the brain doesn't know exactly what to expect, it must adapt, which strengthens self-control. You start responding with intention instead of habit. And with your mind more flexible and awake, you're ready for something powerful. Not just learning something new, but teaching it right after. Learning is powerful, but teaching? That transforms you. When you commit to explaining something you've just learned, your brain enters a higher state of processing. It must organize ideas, fill in gaps, and make sense of everything. That's when knowledge truly sticks. Teaching pushes your mind beyond surface-level understanding into depth, structure, and strong neural connections. Even if you just explain it to a friend or speak out loud to yourself, you're forcing your brain to rebuild the idea from scratch. This strengthens memory and exposes what you don't fully grasp, so you can fix it. It's also a test of humility, showing that learning isn't about knowing everything, but being willing to relearn constantly. It's a feedback loop of continuous growth. Teaching also fuels creativity. You have to adapt your language, use analogies, pull real-life examples, and in doing so, you see the topic from multiple angles. This mental flexibility is priceless. And once your thinking is sharp, your attention naturally shifts to how you spend your free time. That's when games enter the picture. Not silly ones, but those that train your brain for real. Not all games are harmless fun. Many are carefully designed traps of instant gratification. Simple games that rely on repetitive tapping and zero thinking condition your brain to expect rewards without effort. It's like fast food for the mind, quick satisfaction with no real nourishment. But strategy games are different. They demand focus, planning, memory, and real self-control. Every decision matters. Every failure teaches something. Games like chess, complex puzzles, city builders, simulations, or story-driven RPGs challenge the mind in ways that promote true mental exercise. You're constantly forced to anticipate, reflect, adapt. That kind of gameplay strengthens the brain's ability to reason, plan long-term, and build deep neural connections. Unlike casual games, these ones reward thinking, not speed. More than just entertainment, strategy games teach patience and resilience. They train your brain to handle frustration, delay gratification, and think several steps ahead. And once your mind gets used to this level of discipline, you're ready to try something most people never associate with brain health: intermittent fasting. Most people don't realize it, but what you eat, and when you eat, deeply impacts your brain. Intermittent fasting isn't just a diet trend. It's a metabolic and mental reset. By reducing the hours your body spends digesting, you free up more energy for cognitive function. Your mind becomes clearer, more alert, more present. And the constant brain fog many experience after heavy meals, it starts to lift. Fasting also increases the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein critical for the growth of new neurons and the strengthening of neural connections. It's like giving your brain a signal to evolve. As BDNF rises, so does neuroplasticity, memory, learning ability, and even emotional regulation. With time, fasting becomes a source of self-control, breaking the habit of needing to feel full all the time. It's not always easy, especially at first. But that's part of its strength. It teaches discipline, and when the body feels lighter and the mind more grounded, a perfect state is created for reflection and insight. That's when another technique steps in: brain writing. The simple, powerful act of writing ideas in silence. When was the last time you sat in complete silence and let your thoughts pour onto paper? No pressure, no noise, no judgment. That's the essence of brain writing. It's not about being a writer. It's about giving your brain space to dive into its deeper layers. Writing in silence clears mental clutter, sharpens focus, and makes room for creativity that's usually buried under distractions. As you write, your thoughts begin to organize themselves. Intuitions take form. Distant connections come into view. It's during this silent output that your neuroplasticity kicks in. Language, memory, emotion, logic all working together. You're not just thinking, You're building neural connections, refining ideas, and unlocking problem-solving pathways. It's like watching your mind build itself in real time. And here's the beauty. There's no right or wrong. Just write what's in your head and keep going. With practice, translating thoughts into words becomes easier, faster, more natural. You gain clarity, confidence, and insight, all from sitting still. And once the mind is that sharp, it's time to take on a different kind of challenge, one that hits your body first: the cold shower. Few habits divide people like cold showers, but both science and experience point to something powerful. Controlled physical discomfort activates your brain like few other things. That sudden exposure to cold triggers your sympathetic nervous system, boosting alertness, increasing circulation, and wiping away mental sluggishness. It's not just about waking up the body. It's about resetting the mind. That intense stimulus demands self-control. Your first instinct is to retreat, to stop the water, to run. But staying in that moment, even for 30 seconds, tells your brain, I'm in charge. That micro-victory, repeated day after day, builds both physical and mental toughness. You release dopamine, endorphins, and a wave of post-shower clarity that often lasts for hours. This is where real growth begins, not in comfort, but in the decision to face what's uncomfortable on purpose. And the benefits build over time. Better sleep, higher stress tolerance, improved mood. It's a ritual. Quick, free, and intense, that requires nothing but presence and courage. And once the body is awake and the mind is sharp, there's one last daily practice that ties it all together: memorizing something new each week. In a world where everything is just a quick search away, memorization seems outdated. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Memorizing a poem, a song lyric, or a quote activates parts of your brain that rarely get exercised anymore. It requires attention, repetition, and presence, strengthening the neural connections responsible for long-term memory. It's like watering a neglected plant and watching it come back to life. This practice also enhances focus, because to memorize something, you have to be fully engaged. You're not just repeating words, you're forming images, emotions, and meaning. And when you can recite something from memory, the sense of clarity and mental sharpness is immediate. It's a subtle challenge, but one that deeply sharpens your mind. Having words etched into your memory becomes a personal toolkit, something you can draw on during hard days, moments of doubt, or times when you need inspiration. It keeps your mind strong, flexible, and awake. And now that you've explored each of these habits, it's time to bring it all together with a powerful conclusion. Now that you've learned each of these practices, the real question is, will this just become more information in your mind? Or will you take action and actually transform your brain? You now hold a powerful roadmap to strengthen your brain, sharpen your focus, expand your memory, and, as a bonus, improve your English with more depth and consistency. But nothing changes without action. So choose one idea, just one, and start today. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Today, which habit will you try first? Which one pushed you out of your comfort zone the most? Leave a comment, share this with someone who needs it, and of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because this is only the beginning. Your evolution is one step away, and that step is yours to take.